Hey everybody, this is Mr. Lee. I'm your math teacher for Math 171 800K this summer. I wanted to do a welcome video where I said hello to everybody, and I wanted to go over course navigation and policies and procedures. So I'm going to try and keep this to 15 minutes. I have a tendency to run long when I record these, but I wanted to take a minute and say hey before we take a look at the course. So I'm in student preview right now for our course. In truth, student preview still looks a little different than what you will see. Um, but when you first log in, you'll notice that a lot of the content isn't available, and that's because you need to complete the course entry assignment. Course entry assignment is required for every course that has a online component here at Forsyth Tech. Whether you answer true or false is not going to make a difference. What matters is that you complete the course entry assignment. The course entry assignment is not for a grade. It's just for record keeping purposes. But if you do not complete it, you will be automatically withdrawn from the class. So please try to complete it the first day. Then you will have access to all the content. There is a Start Here tab. I encourage you to take the time to work through it. A lot of what is covered in here we're going to look at today, but I do want to point out that for tests, the allowed URL list is with the How Tests Work video. So that might come in handy for you. Then there are 8 modules. Each module lines up with a different week. So here's the content that we're looking at week 7. Week 7 you have 1, 2, 3 homework assignments, a test, and a lab. Just clicking around Blackboard some more. I'm recording this in April, but the calendar here does a pretty good job keeping up with the dates. Announcements, there's no discussion boards. Your gradebook's important. I would ask you that you email me instead of use Blackboard Messenger. Blackboard Messenger is pretty buggy. So if you would please email me, that'll be a bit smoother. Okay, so let's take a look at the syllabus a little bit, and then we'll hop back over to Blackboard in just a minute. Our course starts on May 19th, and it ends July 14th. It's 8 weeks long, and it normally flies by. The 19th and the 20th are the only 2 days in which you can add and drop classes. So if you find that this class is not a good fit for you, if this is not the format that you want to take your college level math class, first college level math class, then I encourage you to make that change by May 20th, because you will not have the opportunity to otherwise. And then if you're not participating in the course, if you're not keeping up with your work, the last day you can withdraw is June 20th. So those are important dates to keep in mind. This is an asynchronous course. That means our course does not meet. There are no designated meeting times. It is up to you to sit down and read the text, watch the lecture videos, work through the content. Let's just look at week 1. So week 1, there's a honor lock practice exam. We'll chat about that in a minute. Other things to point out here. Let's look at section 1.1. Each section has a textbook, helpful videos, and in-house lecture videos to go along with the homework. So instead of sitting down in a classroom and having a lesson delivered to you that way, you work through the content on your own and complete the assignments. My name is Mr. Lee. I use he, him, his as my pronouns. Email is the easiest way to get in touch with me. I will be traveling some this summer, but I will make a point every morning and every evening to sit down and check all of my emails. I do not have fixed student hours during the summer, but I am happy to meet with you if you want to, particularly if you want to meet, if you're comfortable meeting virtually. So just reach out and we will set something up. Mr. Washington is my supervisor. The course description is there. There is no prereq for the course, but if you were placed in the COREC, if you're placed in 071, if you're registered for 071, make sure you stay in the COREC, you participate in the COREC, because if you get dropped from the COREC, you will automatically get dropped from my class as well. And I don't want that to happen to you. The student learning outcomes, SLOs, are listed here. There's nothing physically you need to purchase for the course. The textbook is delivered through Blackboard. We do use a platform called MyOpenMath. MyOpenMath is integrated with Blackboard. Whenever you click on a rocket ship, it shoots you over. You want to shoot over? We're going to shoot over to MyOpenMath. It'll even say connecting to MyOpenMath. So now you're in MyOpenMath, but the two platforms are integrated. And it's free, all free, nothing to buy. Yep, so the 60% date's the last day you can withdraw. If you're not participating in the course, it's usually in your best interest to withdraw. The universal course guidelines and procedures are listed here. We use the 10-point grading scale. I want to spend some time talking about tests, homework, and labs. That's what we'll spend most of this video talking about. But let's go over some other stuff first. So policy for AI, artificial intelligence. You are welcome to use AI resources like ChatGPT, Wolfram Alpha, MathGPT, etc. There's dozens and dozens out there at this point. You're welcome to use AI tools for assistance with your homework assignments. When it comes to labs, you need to be able to produce self-created work. If your lab work looks like something created by an AI bot instead of something created by a human, you will not receive credit for that lab. And then no AI tools are allowed on exams. Any suspicion of AI tools will result in a nullified grade. So it's good to know how to use AI tools. There's certainly a space for AI tools like ChatGPT or MathGPT in learning mathematics. But I don't want you relying solely on AI tools to do your work for you. You need to be able to do the work on your own. It needs to be a learning aid instead of a crutch. Late work, there's no blanket late policy for this course. If you have extenuating circumstances, you have a death in the family, sickness, keep me in the loop and I can work with you. I can work with students one-on-one, but there's no blanket like you can turn in 2 assignments late or you can turn in 1 assignment late for 10% off. There's no blanket late policy, but I can work with students if you have extenuating circumstances. The important thing is keep me in the loop. If something's going on away from our class space that's keeping you from being able to complete your work, you need to pull me in on what's going on. The more you do to pull me in, the more you keep me in the loop, the easier it is and the more options I have to work with you. So keep me in the loop. Sometimes I have students that just disappear for a week or two and then they come back and they say, oh, this was happening or that was happening, and if they'd kept me in the loop, it would have been a lot easier for me to work and I would have had a lot more options to work with them. So please keep me in the loop if something's keeping you away from the class. There is no extra credit for the course. And then the college's attendance policy, if you're inactive for 14 days, you will be automatically withdrawn. I will work really hard to get back to your emails within 24 hours. Tutoring for this class is very helpful. A lot of students need extra support in Math 171 to be successful. And the college does a really good job offering tutoring resources. We offer free walk-in tutoring on campus. We offer in-house virtual tutoring, and we offer Upswing, which is Upswing does not always do great in math classes, but it does a pretty good job in Math 171. Upswing is a subscription service. You get partnered with a tutor anytime you want, 24 hours a day, and that tutor is somewhere in the world. So not always as effective as our in-house tutors. Our in-house tutors do a really good job, but still a good option for people who are maybe working on a homework assignment at 11 o'clock at night or working on a lab at 2 a.m. Okay. The bulk of the time I want to spend talking about homeworks, tests, and labs. If you print one thing all semester, I really encourage you to print the last page of the syllabus because it tells you all of the due dates. We regularly, and that should say Friday right there, that's a misprint. We regularly have assignments due Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, with the exception of today, which is the first day, which is Policy and Procedure Day, the exception of Memorial Day. You have something due every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and you have assignments due on a number of Fridays. So there's a lab due this Friday, and on 5:30. So those labs that are due on Friday are partnered with test days or test weeks. So there's no lab the first week because of Policy and Procedure Day and Memorial Day. I had to work to kind of squeeze everything in. So you have a test that turns off every other Thursday. Most assignments turn off at 11:55, but tests are different. Tests turn off at 5 o'clock because that is when the testing center closes. Everything else will be open until 11:55. Everything opens at the beginning of the semester, particularly during the summer. It's not unusual for a student to knock out all of their coursework in 2 weeks. So let's talk about expectations with homeworks, then labs, then tests. How does it work in this class? So the homework assignments, let's pull up a homework. And I was just in section 1.1. Let's look at that first homework assignment. You get 100 attempts on each homework question. So let's start. Here's the first question. Let's purposely get it wrong. So I can click Get a Similar Question, and there's a button over here, or a number over here, that's going to start ticking down. Every time I do a similar question, that number ticks down. So we're up down to 96 now. If I could give you unlimited attempts, I would, but MyOpenMath doesn't allow me to do that. When you finally get a question correct, you get full credit for it. There is no penalty for burning through attempts. So if you budget enough time, if you get the support you need on homework questions that you're stuck on, you can have a really strong homework grade. Homeworks account for 35% of your overall grade. So the total number of homework questions you complete, so if you complete 99% of your homework questions, that's going to account for 35% of your overall grades. So that's big. It's really, really helpful. Okay, labs. I've made a separate video on how labs work. I'm going to include that video. The video's in the syllabus. I'm going to include it in the welcome announcement. And the video on how labs work is also in the Start Here tab under How Labs Work. So let's look at a lab. We'll look at lab 4 right here. There's no lab week 1 because of Memorial Day and Policy and Procedure Day. Each lab is 4 questions long. Each question is worth 25 points. Each question requires you to include work. I talk about this in the video. If you do not include work, you will not receive credit for the lab question. If you do not include work that is relevant to the question, you will not receive credit. If you include your work but it's missing steps that I think are important, then you will receive a reduced grade. If you post work that's not relevant or just looks like it was spit out by an AI bot, you're not going to receive credit. I'm looking for quality human-produced work. The goal with the labs is to help you build a portfolio. Okay, there's no physical textbook for the course. I want you to build a portfolio that you can look back on 5 years from now and know exactly what you did in Math 171. So I'm looking for really quality work. So to help you, I offer to check your labs for you. So if you'll email it to me, I'm happy to check your lab work. If you can get it to me the day before, that'd be really helpful. I talk about this in the video though. I'm happy to check your lab work. Yeah, I have it in uppercase letters right here. I was looking for the sentence. You are welcome to email me your lab work before you submit it for me to check it. Okay, last thing, tests. There's 4 tests. They have a 2-hour time limit. They are 15 questions long. They are also proctored. They have a password protection. Your tests are proctored. I made a video on how tests work. I will include that in the welcome announcement. The video on how tests work is also included in the Start Here tab. I also included here in the Start Here tab the allowed URLs. So I have a document, HonorLock how-to document. So tests are proctored. They can either be proctored in the testing center or they can be proctored using HonorLock. My recommendation is for you to use the testing center because students find HonorLock to be a very frustrating experience. I go into more detail in the video, but you would make an appointment at this website. I included a map to where the learning center is, or to where the testing center is. If you need any help with the testing center, reach out and I'm happy to help. On tests, there are no cell phones or iPads allowed. There are no calculators allowed. There are no books allowed. There are no notes allowed. You are allowed to use Desmos. You are allowed to use blank paper. I also included in the testing center and in HonorLock a link to the textbook, so you can use the textbook as well. You can also use blank paper. My recommendation would be to go to the testing center because students that go to the testing center have a less frustrating experience with HonorLock. HonorLock requires fast internet and it requires a webcam. So if you're going to go the HonorLock route, and I go into more detail, I have the how-to document here in the video that explains how to use HonorLock. You will need to use Chrome. You will need to install a special extension. There is a terms of service. There's a systems check. You will need to show a photo ID. You will need to share your screen while you're testing. And you will need to do a room scan, and you will need to show the space in front of you in the room scan. I need to be able to see, hey, there's no cell phone out. There's no textbook out. The only thing I have in front of me is blank paper, pencils, or pens. You'll use HonorLock to navigate to the assignment. You'll click that you found the assignment when you get there. And HonorLock under assessment details includes the allowed URLs. So you can access Desmos, the textbook, right there. So that's a quick crash course and how the course works. You know, we have assignments due most Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and about half of the Fridays. I did structure it so you get the weekends off. It's summertime. I don't want you to have to be working on math on a Saturday if you don't want to. I encourage you to work ahead. Um, I have students in the summer that will knock out everything the first 2 weeks. So everything is open starting day one. You're welcome to work ahead. Um, and if you have extenuating circumstances, please reach out, keep me in the loop. I'm here to be an aid. I'm excited about the summer that we're going to have together.